Quantum immortality means that once we die, we instantly relive the same life over and then over and over and over again. Sometimes we go back in time just a couple of seconds to right before we died, especially if that dying event was prematurely, for example, because of an accident. Sometimes we jump back a little bit more, and sometimes maybe we start living the same life again starting when we are young. Just an example I can come up with is that in one scenario, your parents decided to move to another location, and in another scenario, they decided to stay where you actually grew up. Of course, that would result in a completely different life. Growing up somewhere else would mean going to a different school, meeting new people, having other influences in your life. But still, you would have the same basic setup. You would have been born probably on the same day you were born. You would be born into the same family. You would be born in the same year with the same character you have. Make sure to watch my anti-death series playlist in order to understand what I'm talking about, because I give you numerous examples of people who experienced dying and then there was some kind of glitch that they consciously remembered jumping to another timeline where that incident did not happen. I believe that that is something that happens normally, we just usually don't remember. Neville Goddard called this the wheel of recurrence. The other term, I already said it, would be quantum immortality. So if you watch this death series playlist, we do not only hear Neville Goddard talk about this and the experiences he had with that, we also have Philip K. Dick, who all of a sudden remembered other lives, not future or past lives set in another time, but the same life, him being himself, but in an alternate universe. Some may be more different than others. In this video, I give you another little treat. We do have Bashar, which is this spirit being channeled by Darryl Anka. Bashar is also talking about that when we die, for example, due to an accident, we may not die. We may get another chance to live the same life again. But now let's listen to Bashar, what he has to say on this topic.
When someone dies physically, you are actually still given a choice to continue the physical life. Many of you have actually died, but have chosen to continue to live that physical life. Sometimes you don't know it, you don't remember it because it doesn't serve you to remember that moment of choice. Sometimes you create for yourself the idea of what you call a close call.
Right.
Ooh, I don't know how I got out of that alive. But I seemingly did. Well, the truth is you may not have. You may have actually died. But then the guides may have said, are you sure you really want to go on? Or did you want to continue the life in a parallel reality to make it seem as if you want to explore something in that life that's still going on, but you know it's a parallel reality? And you said yes. So then you will simply wake up and go, wow, that was a close one. Maybe not even remembering that you actually died and were given a choice to go on or come back. So the point is you're always in control of what's going on. So if you are still here, if you can still open your eyes, you must have made a choice that says that continuing to experience this physical reality in the way you're experiencing it is actually part of the way you wanted to evolve. There's something that's going to happen that will add to you in a way that simply going into the non-physical won't give you. Otherwise, you would leave. There is something here you're excited about doing, otherwise you would leave. Because it actually is that easy. All right? You have to learn to trust that. You have to learn that there will be surprises, and if you leave now, they won't happen. And when you get there, you'll go, oh shucks. I was going to surprise myself, and now I have forced myself to leave, and now I won't have that surprise I wanted, so I guess now I'll do it again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Or not. It's all up to you. But the point is if you're here, you want to be. Even though you don't know it. You want to be. You have to trust that your life will show you what it is you wanted to be here for. And it will.
Very interesting.
So I bet this sounds very familiar to you, right? Because we have been talking about this in this playlist. I personally do not agree with everything he has to say though, but of course I may be wrong. Okay, so maybe he is right, but I think that he is wrong when it comes to having that kind of choice. Yes, in some near-death experiences, people talk about having that choice and then coming back to life. But I think still that that is one specific timeline, and we nevertheless experience the same life over and over and over again with minor alterations. But even though between timeline A and B, there only may be minor alterations, between timeline B and Z, there are quite a lot of them. Especially if we consider that we do have infinite timelines, infinite possibilities that we do live over and over and over again. Why don't I agree with Darryl Anka or Bashar on this one? One reason is the sorting wheel. And in the future, I'm going to give you a quite long testimonial of someone who died, just like we had in the other stories, but he did not just jump back in time. He was in some space in between where he had to choose the timeline that he was supposed to be sorted in. So he had this choice. What are you going to do now? But it was not between going on. It was, you have the same life, but which one do you choose? Which version of that life? And that person is describing this as a rather traumatic event, like feeling forced to choose and having the sense of, if I don't choose, that sorting wheel is going to choose for me, so I better do it myself. If you're interested in that story, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, because it will be coming up in the future. But now we have had several teachers or people talk about this, some of them quite renowned like Bashar or Neville Goddard, and some of the stories are just normal people, even though is anybody normal? We are all sparks of God. But there are people talking about their experiences which could be that someone else died and all of a sudden was alive again, or themselves dying and then all of a sudden being alive again. So death does not seem to be the end. It seems to be this recurring wheel of repeating itself over and over and over again, just as I said, with minor alterations. But I think this concept is quite fascinating, and more information seems to really hint that we need to drop our old belief of reincarnation, of being born in one century and then the next and then the next and then the next. Everything is happening in the now, and we are going through every possible outcome, every decision in your life where you could decide between different things in an alternate universe, maybe in one of your past lives or one of your future lives. And by past and future, of course, everything is happening in the now. It is just that we experience time in a different way. Everything is happening simultaneously. But in another life, this other version of you is making the other experience. So your soul is going through all of the experiences, and your conscious mind usually is just in that one that you are experiencing, let's say in this life. Please drop your comments. Let me know what you think about it. Please check out the entire death series playlist, because I absolutely think that this topic of death is extremely fascinating. And in the future, I'm going to uncover even more on that topic. So make sure you stay tuned. And please also watch my other content. And maybe you have noticed I started now to outsource my subliminal and affirmation tracks to a brand new channel specifically for robotic affirmations and subliminals. You will find a link in the description box below. Please consider to subscribe there as well, because I need 1,000 subscribers in order to turn off mid-video advertisement. So if you want to reprogram your subconscious mind, head there to my other channel, listen to my meditations, and dream it into reality, manifest whatever you want. If you need a little bit more help, of course, you can reach out for personal coaching. And I do see you there or in another video on my other channel. Until then, I do wish you all the best now. Bye-bye. If you want to book your own custom-made affirmation or subliminal, you will find my contact information in the description box below.